Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Perla Martinez. I am the DEI Administrator for the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I am very excited for our Lunch and Learn today, where we will be discussing International Day of Women and Girls in Science. Today, we are joined by Jenn Fowler Howard, Managing Director at Per Scholas Columbus, and Chelsey Williams, who is the Site Director, also at Per Scholas Columbus, who will be discussing the importance of recognizing International Day of Women and Girls in Science, and also the Tech Women of Color that we have in partnership with them. Welcome both of you to this Lunch and Learn.
Thank you for having us.
I believe they will be sharing a presentation, and then we will have some questions at the end. Jenn and Chelsey, go ahead. This is your space.
All right. Thank you so much for having us. And for everyone listening, I'm going to take a moment and share my screen and walk you through our initial presentation, and then hopefully have a great conversation around this work. So, excited to participate in this Lunch and Learn today in recognition of International Day of Women and Girls in STEM. And so when we talk about women and girls in STEM, one of the things that we recognize and we learn as we delve into this subject is that there's a gap that exists there. And so really excited today to talk about the gap, because a part of the issue with the gap being able to continue to grow is just a lack of awareness. And so excited for opportunities like this to acknowledge what the state of women and girls in tech is, so that we can put together systems and processes to be able to close that gap and hopefully get to a place in which we have an equal representation across the board. And so with that, let's look at what the problem is. And it actually starts at a very, very early age. When you look at girls in regards to STEM and technology and all of that. Almost 14% of young women started coding in school, compared to 21% of young men starting to code. So even at an early age, you see a significant gap. That's a 7% gap in regards to young people starting to code and learning to code. And if that gap exists at such an early age, what happens is over time, there's a decreased number of people who are engaged in that space. And then we all know that some things you start doing at an early age, you kind of phase out of, right? And so if you are already starting with a smaller number of people and then you phase out of that even more, you get left with not a lot of people in that space. But one of the other things that we found out, according to a Gallup poll, which I'll share more about here in a moment, is that when you look at about 2,000 Gen Zers, so between the ages of 17 and 26, the overall reason for a lack of engagement of girls and women in STEM is a low confidence in STEM. So they don't believe that they belong in that space. They don't see themselves doing that type of work. And we all know that as kids, we're like, when I grow up, I want to be a teacher, a lawyer, a doctor. What's happening is our young girls are not growing up and saying that they want to be engineers, that they want to be software developers, that they want to be technologists who are changing the growing scape of our world. And so when they don't start off thinking that they can do it and they don't have a confidence in their ability in doing it, what happens is they continue to just find the thing that they feel like they are confident in doing, finding the thing that they feel like they're capable of doing, and they begin to zero in on that, and then they lose an opportunity to go into a space that is growing and enhancing across the board. And so it's more than just these numbers, though. So according to Gallup, you can see here on the screen that there's just an overall lack of interest, oftentimes coupled with a lack of confidence. And so when you're looking at the interest in at least one STEM activity or one STEM field, there is a 22% gap between boys and girls, females and males in this space. So if we're already starting off 22% behind the field, there's no way for us to reasonably catch up unless we do something very intentional around that. When you shift into interest in technology and computers, you see that 62% of males and 34% of females are interested in that space. And so there's no surprise when you get to the actual tech space that's going on right now, that is, it appears to be predominantly white male dominated. because at an early age, there's this separation that is happening there. You see a consistent statistic when you look at engineering, math, and it begins to balance out a little bit with the life in physical sciences there. And so when it's all said and done, the issue that we are claiming is that the advancement of technology has not resulted in the advancement of women in the tech field. I can give you all of my thoughts and opinions about that. But according to Zaveli Zaniski, she says that technology is rapidly evolving and transforming our world in profound ways, from smartphones and social media to artificial intelligence and machine learning. Technology is changing the way we live and work. However, despite the tremendous growth of the tech industry, there is still a significant gender gap that exists within the sector. Women are vastly underrepresented in technology, and this gap poses a significant challenge to the industry's growth and development. According to recent data, women make up about 27% of the STEM workforce in the United States. But within technology specifically, that percentage drops even lower, with women holding about 20% of tech jobs. But when you're looking at the percentage of women in tech leadership, the percentage drops even lower, and it drops down to 11%. This disparity is even larger and even more significant when it comes to women of color, as they are vastly underrepresented in the tech field. There we go.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to happily share with you some statistics that we have run into when we talk about women in color in tech. And then I'm going to share with you what the answer is, what we are charged to do. So the statistics that we have found are in 2022, the representation of women in tech was an estimated 27.6%. So last year's growth rate was just 0.9%, and analysts said that this is not enough to achieve the gender equality anytime soon. So even at a consistent growth rate of nearly 5% every year, it would take approximately 12 years to achieve the equal representation in the tech industry. So when you think about 12 years, that is 2036. And so that is not, we are nowhere near that. That is way too much time to think about making that gap equal. And so we are charged to do something about it here in Franklin County. So studies reveal also that women working in tech, of those women that are minorities, are less than 10%. So you have 5% that are Asian, 3% that are women that are Black, and then 1% are Hispanic. You can go next one, Jen. Okay, so what is our solution? Our solution to the call is education, awareness, and action. So when you think about education, we need to educate young girls and also women about the fun and the growth and the excitement in tech. So like Jenn shared, at a young age, girls who are 12 and 14 think that they can't do what their counterparts do at that same age. So we need to create spaces and areas in our community where young girls feel that they are equal to them, that they can take on these various tasks or create or work with break fixes or tear apart a computer and put it back together. Those are very fun things that they can do. And when we think about boys doing those things, there is no, I want to say consequence. They're allowed to play and tinker. So we need to make sure that we give young girls the same opportunity. Also think about women. So when you think about growing up, and like Jenn said, being a lawyer or a doctor or a teacher, there are women who now are deciding, okay, I see that tech is a booming industry. So why don't I go ahead and shift and take a career change? And so giving women the confidence to know that even at 50 or 60 or 40 or 30, that they can change their career, that they can take a different path and enter into the tech field. That it doesn't matter what age you are, that you are ready to do whatever at any time. So making sure that they feel ready, confident, and have the resources available to make that career change. So with the education, we need to bring about awareness. So we need to make sure that we understand that the gap is there. We can't act like it's not there. We have to know where we are starting so that we can build upon and create spaces to help make that gap equal. So again, it starts out at a young age. We need to help the girls feel confident. We need to also make our counterparts aware. We need to make sure that we have advocates and our male counterparts to help create spaces for women of all ages to enter into that space. And then, of course, we need to take action. So we need to create those spaces in our communities. We need to create those educational spaces or those fun spaces so that women have the opportunity to see if they are interested in technology, and if so, then what can I do with it? What is my path and what is my plan? Next slide, please. So Franklin County and Per Scholas decided to take action. And so through Franklin County Board of Commissioners, they helped create the Tech Women of Color Alliance through Per Scholas. And so in March of 2022, they passed an initiative to help us start towards the path of bridging the gap between women and men in tech. I'm going to let Jenn go ahead and take over.
So what was really amazing about this day on March 8th, 2022 was not just the fact that it was March 8th, but it was also International Women's Day. And so I'm really, really excited that Franklin County Board of Commissioners on a very special day decided that they were going to put their support behind women in this community, because we recognize that when you support the development and advancement of women in communities, you're supporting the development of families. Because when a woman moves forward, they bring their family, they bring their community and the whole village along with them. And so on March the 8th, 2022, I was grateful to be at the Franklin County Board of Commissioners office when they had their public hearing and unanimously voted to approve $4.5 million investment in the launch of the Tech Women of Color Workforce Training Initiative, which was provided by funding from American Rescue Fund dollars. The commitment that we made on that day was that we would train 200 women of color over a 2-year period, that 100% of them would earn at least one industry recognized certification, 85% of them would graduate from the program, and 80% of them would secure employment within 1 year of graduating from our program. And so that is no small task in regards to providing success in this community. But one of the things that we recognize is that the solution to closing the gap between women in the tech space and men in the tech space is taking action. And so we have to make bold goals, we have to make bold stances, and we have to do the work of making sure there's an equal playing field for women to enter into that space. And so Per Scholas, as an organization that believes it is our responsibility to provide equitable access to education, took on the task of doing this work. But we're excited that, you know, there was the support of the community, not just Franklin County Board of Commissioners, but New Directions Career Center, Kimba Bank, and other parties that have come along to help us do this work.
So like Jenn said, we started with Franklin County Board of Commissioners and we partnered with them with New Directions to help provide not only case management, but also to help lead workshops to help support women as they enter into that tech space. So their mission is to help uplift and empower women to achieve and maintain self-sufficiency. So New Directions Career Center has been around for a very long time in the Columbus community, and they have worked and created various workshops to help women. And so it was a no-brainer to help them, have them join Per Scholas Columbus, especially with our Tech Women of Color initiative, to make sure that our women felt safe and secure as they enter into that workspace. So like I said, they offer additional professional development workshops. So they offer communication styles, branding, DEIB, imposter syndrome, and the healthy boundaries. We recognize that women entering into the space, they may be either the only woman of color in their workspace, or they might be joining people who there are only 1 or 2 women of color already in that tech space. So we added additional workshops to make sure that when they got in that space, they feel like they belong, no matter what they see, that they are ready to walk in that space and kind of own it. And then making sure, like I said, they create healthy boundaries, they have great communication styles, but just making sure that they have that one leg up when they go and enter into that space. They also help with our mentorship program. So we realize, again, that there may be 1 or 2 only people of color that when they enter into that tech space. And so we have worked with women who work in tech already, and or people who work higher up, maybe not be in tech, but who work in the C-suites of their company. And so they provide that mentorship program to our graduates in case they run into areas or issues where they may need someone to troubleshoot something off of, or they just want to know how to climb up that tech career ladder. The big key component that they offer for us also is emergency assistance and case management. So we recognize Per Scholas, we offer, or our goal is to help not women, but just anyone in general who makes less than 30,000. They go through our program, and we hope that they're making a thriving wage when they leave us. And so we recognize that we are asking women to not work for 15 weeks. And so if we're asking them not to work for 15 weeks, how are they going to pay their bills? How are they going to eat? And how are they going to make sure that their kids are taken care of? And so if needed, Franklin County has helped a great deal with providing that emergency assistance. And so we have a case manager who helps them with their day-to-day issues. And then they also just help think strategically and help create opportunities for learners. So they have provided Kimba Financial Credit Union, who helps give them financial workshops. So that is also a key piece. We can offer them all of these workshops, but when they leave us, they're going to go and work in the tech field. And if they're not sure how to manage their money once they start earning a thriving wage, that is quite important. So we make sure that they know and understand how to manage their money once they start to make that thriving wage. So understanding the impact. So Per Scholas' mission is to provide equitable access to education and to support learners as they launch their thriving IT career. We provide equitable access to education by offering a tuition-free program. So when you think about tuition-free, we truly mean it. They don't pay for the class, they don't pay for their materials, they don't pay for their laptops. We want to make sure that we can eliminate as many barriers as possible for them to fully immerse themselves in the program, for them to certify, and then to go on and get a really great job in tech. We also believe that a workforce should look like the community that it serves. However, women of color only represent 3% in the IT workforce. So it is because of that we collaborated with Franklin County Board of Commissioners, and we are working to drastically change that percentage. So we are on our 8th and 9th class currently, and so we have drastically changed what that tech community looks like here in Columbus, but we are hoping to continue to work to change that 3% of women of color in tech. So in Per Scholas Columbus, our Tech Women of Color class, it is an IT fundamentals training track. And so when you take that track, you can look forward to earning your Cisco IT Essentials certification and your Cisco Networking certification. So you're understanding the basics of computers, how they work, how they're built, and then how to troubleshoot when they're not working. So that IT Essentials part is how the computers work, how they're built. So the women in our program take apart a computer and put it back together. They have to know how to create cabling. So when they go on to get jobs in the tech industry, like a help desk, they know how to fix those various issues. And then the networking is troubleshooting when your computer breaks up. So I always say, when we get an error on our screen when we're working, they're learning how to fix that error. And then the next class that we teach through our Tech Women of Color course is our software engineering track. So those women, although it is entry level, they have to have some basic information about tech. And so you think about creating a website or tinkering with that kind of thing day to day. They are more interested in the software engineering side. And you can look forward to doing 4 projects throughout the course to understand the front end and back end of developing websites and database. So think about all things coding and how a period or an exclamation point can drastically change your code. And so those women are working through those 4 projects to become software engineers.
One of the other really great things about the partnership with Franklin County Board of Commissioners is that they didn't just stop at talking about increasing the number of women that are working in tech, but we also looked at the hurdles or barriers that they may run into as they're launching that tech career. And so one of the things that we are testing on a small scale with our program in collaboration with the Franklin County Board of Commissioners is we're testing this benefits bridge resource, because we recognize that when you are entering a program like this, there's a possibility you might be on some type of government benefits that are allowing you to make ends meet. our goal in the end is to help support people so that they can be the best version of themselves. And sometimes that means that they are on these benefits. But the goal is for them to grow and launch a thriving IT career to the point that they don't need those benefits any longer. But sometimes once they graduate from the program, if they get a job right away, their benefits will be instantly interrupted and then cause for them to have to make a decision of, do I continue with my benefits because I have the security of that? Or do I actually take the steps to launch this career and lose the benefits? And sometimes that gap that exists when making that transition is too hard for our women, and it spins them into a space where they're not actually able to be the best version of themselves and be thriving and have that career that they want. And so we're excited that as a part of this funding opportunity, that we're able to test what it looks like to subsidize for a very small period of time those benefits, so that as they make that transition, they're able to get fully on their feet and launch their careers and then not need the benefits any longer. And so now we've supported women not only increase their educational awareness and knowledge in regards to tech, we provided them the professional development skills so that they have the hard technical skills as well as the soft skills in order to be successful in tech. And we've removed the barrier and we removed the hurdle of the benefits bridge and gotten them off of benefits so that they can thrive, they can be great and be the best version of themselves. And so really excited about the advancement of that work as well. Because we've been doing this program since March 8th of 2022, we are actually at a space where we have some really great data that we can share about the impact of our program. So to date, we have enrolled 172 women in this program. And you'll remember at the beginning, I said our goal was to enroll 200 women. So we are 28 women away from being able to check that goal off the list. 118 women have graduated from the program to date. 42 women are currently enrolled. And so if you do that math, you'll recognize that we have a 90% graduation rate. And so what that to me says is not only are women enrolling in the program, but they are finishing the program and graduating so that they can actually launch a career in tech. 100% of the women have earned at least one industry recognized certification, which was the goal. But we recognize that there's also a need to just increase certifications across the board, because the more certifications you have, the more it speaks to your capacity and what you've learned. And so we're excited that 98% of our graduates have earned 2 or more industry recognized certifications. And so not only are they getting that initial certification, they're leaving with multiple certifications to the point that they can actually thrive and advocate for themselves in the new tech space. We've done all of that, and we still have 2 classes that are currently running and 2 classes that are going to start in May. And so I am excited about the work that we've been able to do in partnership with Franklin County and the Board of Commissioners. And I truly believe the best is truly yet to come for women and the Franklin County community in regards to technology. And that's what we have.
Thank you both so much for that presentation. I'm gonna go back and touch on some points that you mentioned, because I mean, this is one, thank you for the data. It's always important for, you know, people to see where their dollars are going and how that is impacting the community. So thank you for that. I want to go back and touch on something that Chelsey mentioned about mentorship for especially women of color in spaces where there's usually not a lot of representation of them, especially in leadership positions also as well. As a woman of color, you know, in a government space, usually, or I've seen women of color in other spaces where they might be in leadership positions. I think imposter syndrome is a very big issue a lot of times. And being able to provide some mentorship for women who might feel like they don't belong, whether it's because they didn't attend some like elite university or had like this like college career that you know, the other people in this space may have, or just from being from a different background or having a different lived experience. Can you guys like elaborate a little bit more about that whole mentorship aspect piece, and how did that come about?
So I will speak briefly and then we'll let Jen tag.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that through our mentorship program, we started with our first class, and we, again, knowing that this was a brand new initiative, we wanted to make sure that not only can they go into those tech space, but that they can be successful. And so we knew that mentorship piece was very important, because they needed to see someone like them doing the work already. once they entered into that space, the imposter syndrome would kick in. And we knew that very early on. And so we wanted to make sure that, hey, month one, once they enter in that space, they can reach out to their mentor and say, hey, I experienced this. A, is this something you experienced? Or B, how can you help me assess this and then work around it? And so the thing that we ask our mentors, well, number one, they both the learners and our mentors do a Myers-Briggs. So we make sure that they are matched in all things to make sure that there kind of won't be I don't want for them to rub heads. And so make sure that they are matched on that level. And then also we ask that they do a month check-in. It does not have to be in person. It could be on Zoom. It could be a phone call, or it can be in person. Let's go get coffee or lunch or dinner. It is however big or broad they want it to be. But we wanted to make sure that they felt comfortable enough and confident enough to reach out if they had any issues. And so, like I said, we have had mentors who are as high up or as low up in any space that they work in their tech company. They don't have to work in a tech space, but that is our ask of them so that they can troubleshoot the technical issues that these women of color may enter into. Jenn.
And then what I'll add is that I've actually started to shift my vocabulary, if you will, and calling it an imposter experience instead of an imposter syndrome. And we do that, actually was introduced to that language thanks to New Directions Career Center. When you say syndrome, it's like, I have this thing, it's on me, like it's this big bad thing that I can't overcome, right? But we all have imposter experiences. I'm the senior managing director of Per Scholas Columbus. And there are times in which I walk into meetings or I'm going into situations and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. My anxiety is through the roof. Like, am I going to be able to talk in such a way that people understand? Am I going to be too passionate? Can I be my authentic self? Like, I begin to question whether or not I can be successful in that space. We all have those experiences in those moments. But the key is it's an experience. It doesn't have to be a permanent thing that lasts all of the time. The goal is to recognize it as a brief experience, have the different skills that are necessary to take a breath, to reset yourself, affirm yourself, and then proceed in the space. And so one of the things that is amazing with our mentors is that our mentors are able to say, I've been there, right? I've been in a space where I've been the only woman or the only person of color or the only woman of color in a space. And this is how I was able to reset. This is how I was able to build relationships with people in the room so that I knew that I belonged in that space. But our mentors also sometimes go a step further than that. I have a specific story that comes to mind, and that we had a woman who graduated from our program. She went to work for a company, and she was the only woman on the team, and she was the only person of color on the team. And when you're walking into a space like that, and this is your first time in tech, that can be a little overwhelming. And unfortunately, she was in a space that wasn't the healthiest, right? And so there were comments that were made about whether or not she was good enough to be there. There were comments made about her race. There were comments made about the fact that she was a female. And she was trying to figure out how best to navigate that. And so she reached out to her mentor during their next meeting and said, hey, this is happening. What should I do? And the mentor was able to say instantly, so this actually is illegal and should not be happening, and was able to coach her through how to have the appropriate conversations, and then circle back with us. And we were able to work with her to navigate that space. And we're excited that she doesn't work there anymore, right? So she's able to move to a space that will accept her for who she is and how she shows up. But her mentor was her first go-to in regards to, is this normal? Is this okay? And once she found out that it wasn't, she was able to pivot and find herself in a healthier, better environment. And so sometimes our mentors are doing just real life coaching on, no, that's not okay. And sometimes they're doing coaching on, this is how you can excel in your career. This is something you might want to be looking at in a project. And it just kind of depends on what that mentor-mentee relationship is as they're looking to grow and develop as people.
Wow. I mean, that is great. There's usually like a lack of understanding or just knowledge, and it's not really anyone's fault as to what you may experience in the workplace when it comes to, was it gender discrimination, or, is it you're being looked down on, like I said, or like you mentioned, because of your race or because of your education or your background. So I'm glad that they are able to go the extra mile to help these women, especially because I'm sure that a lot of them haven't been in a position where they are, presented with these situations which no one wants to be in to begin with. But I'm glad that they have the supports there. Are you guys able to touch on a little bit about demographics when it comes to women of color that have gone through the program? Do you see a lot of refugees or immigrants? Like, how does that work? Or is that because women of color, like, that encompasses a whole lot. I mean, you mentioned that 1% of Hispanic women are in the tech industry, and like that was pretty shocking to me. I mean, being a woman who is Hispanic or identifies as Hispanic or Latina, I did not know that. So that's just kind of like, wow.
So in regards to the demographics of the program, this is one of the things that I just love about Per Scholas, outside of the fact that we're a tuition-free environment and just advocating for the advancement of anyone who wants to launch a career in tech, is that the requirements for getting a Per Scholas are not, it's not rocket science. There's actually only 3 things that you have to do in order to be eligible. You have to be 18 years or older. You have to be eligible to work in the United States, and you have to have a high school diploma or equivalent, so a GED or something like that. And so what that does is it levels the playing field for anyone who wants to launch a career in tech. And so we have women who have relocated to the States because they are from Africa or from an international location, and they have relocated to Columbus, and they're looking for opportunities to launch their career. What's amazing in those moments are that the realization that sometimes these women are coming with degrees in technology, and they just haven't been able to get their foot in the door here in the States for whatever reason, right? And so we're able to work with them around some of the particular things that are going on in this particular market or technology that's currently taking place here, but then also couple that with the professional development to make sure that if there is something that they are doing that is shifting or adding to someone's unconscious bias, that they're able to kind of speak to that and acknowledge that they're able to acknowledge some of the cultural differences that may be at play. But we're also working with them on how to be your authentic self, right? So how can I show up as a proud African-American or Hispanic woman and be excited and passionate and speak to those things while also speaking to the various things that are before them. And so I'm excited about when we talk about the Tech Women of Color program, it's not just Black women, it's not just Hispanic women, it's not just Asian women, but it's everyone coming all together. And then because the requirements in regards to age is 18, we have this really, really cool situation where sometimes there's an 18-year-old woman who's sitting next to a 57, 58-year-old woman. So you have this cross-generational learning that's happening as well. And it's a space where everyone's equal, where everyone's supported, where everyone's pushing towards completing the program and launching a career and supporting each other in that process.
I will add that in the past, I want to say 3 cohorts, we have had women who, like Jenn said, have masters from either the US or the country where they have come from, and literally just want to get their foot in the door here. So I've never worked in the US. And so they're like, hey, this is the perfect catalyst to help me start working. So with that professional development that we offer, they are worried or scared, like, hey, I don't have any work history in the US. That means nothing. You have all of this background. And so our professional development instructors help them change the language to show what they have earned and what they have done in their various countries to translate over so that they can get jobs in tech. And then the other cool thing Jenn said with that, an 18-year-old learner sitting next to a 57-year-old learner is they have an hour for lunch every day. And so they sit and they talk about real life events. And so they create this sort of family that is just, it's so natural to see and it's so beautiful to see. And we kind of just sit back and let it happen. But by week 2, they are truly like immersed. And so you see that cross-generational bridge happening. And so by the end of it, there could be a mom in the group or a grandma, or they've helped a learner who has certified but now wants to go to school and get their degree. And so it's beautiful to see it all happen in real time.
That is such a amazing piece, just the intergenerational cohorts, which is also multicultural, and just a different lived experiences, right? I mean, you said, a grandmother, or just recent high school graduate, or someone who has small children, right? And people who are trying to navigate all of these things in their lives while taking this giant step to further their career or just become the better version of themselves. That is probably something that is awesome to see in person. I attended one of your graduation cohort, one of your graduations. Maybe I had just started working here at the BOC, in the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, my supervisor invited me to come and witness it, and it was something like, it was great to see. Just you had this array of women who you knew were in different spaces in their lives and wanted to, even with their certification and their graduation, because they all had to say a few words about when they were standing there, but they were, how proud they were of themselves, how they never thought that they would be in this place or without the help and support of Per Scholas and the commissioners funding, what they wanted to do with their certification. I know that you said that when you were here, when you were both here at general session speaking at our public hearing, it was great that you mentioned how some of them are going on to college, right, and have furthered their degrees, but you also recognize that maybe some of them figure out that this is not the space for them, and Per Scholas is still helping them try to figure out what their space may be, right? I think that was amazing.
Yeah, that's actually one of the additional perks with Per Scholas is that it's not just a one-time right now support for you. So Per Scholas provides you with the training to go through, but we're going to support you for at least the next 2 years following your graduation. And what that looks like is resume support for you after you've launched that initial career and you need to update your resume to talk about the additional skills that you've learned. It looks like support with job searching so that you can actually launch that career. But it's also a situation where, say you launch your career, say Chelsey graduates from the program and she goes and she gets a job. And while she's working that job, she's learning more things. And she's like, I really want to go into cybersecurity. That's the technology that I want to have a great impact on. That is what it is that I want to do. But when she came through our program, she did the tech fundamentals course. And there's a big gap between tech fundamentals and cybersecurity. But cybersecurity is the thing that she wants to do. Per Scholas as an organization is set up to follow you for those 2 years, which means, Chelsey, you can come back in the evenings and on the weekends and take additional courses to earn those additional certifications, again, at no charge to you, so that you can then utilize those skills, utilize those certifications, and continue to advance your career. And so I like to tell people when they start at Per Scholas, this is not just a 15-week journey that you're going to go on with us. This is a lifetime commitment to being the best version of yourself, to excelling in technology, to earning certifications, and to getting to that space where you are thriving in your career and doing all the things that you've always wanted to do, but you weren't sure you're capable of.
That's awesome. I mean, it really is, especially for women who sometimes may have not had the support, or do currently still don't have the support system to be able to come into this space and feel like they are being supported and they are being uplifted through this program. And just, it's just basically building community, right? And that's where important things happen and amazing things happen. I also wanted to point out that Columbus and the Central Ohio region has been named as one of those up and coming, cities, especially in the tech field. We have Intel coming, and I know that we have other companies that are coming to Columbus and making it a hub for, development of workforce, especially in the tech space. Have you guys seen or been able to women going into these companies, or what is the future with these companies coming into, the Central Ohio region and the tech one of color that Per Scholas is having?
So one of the amazing things that I love about the boom that is happening within technology in this community is that it opens the doors for us to do so much at Per Scholas. And so when we found out Intel was coming, we were like, let's meet with Intel. Let's figure out, we know that there are going to be tons of jobs that they're bringing to this community. How do we need to pivot our curriculum so that it's able to speak to the needs there? Google has also grown drastically in this community and hired several of our learners. So we're excited about opportunities like that. We also have companies like Accenture and that offer internship opportunities. Nationwide Children's Hospital is another one that's done a lot of hiring of our Per Scholas graduates. Franklin County has hired a lot of our tech women of color graduates. And so I am always excited to talk to any company who wants to work with Per Scholas in regards to looking for a talent pipeline. And I say to people, because everyone has a DEI goal these days, right? And so one of the things that we will do is have conversations with you to make sure that, yes, you have these DIB goals, but also do you have the structure and the professional development and the culture, and that once women of color come into that space, they're going to be safe and well as they are launching their career. And so we work with them to make sure that they have done the work of being ready for women of color to come into that space. But I would say to any company that is looking to hire within tech and looking for spaces to hire skilled talent who have a passion for technology, who have earned certifications, who are bringing along a community with them. Per Scholas has an excellent way of partnering with you to ensure that we can be a pipeline and you don't have to search for a long time, because we service over 200 people over the span of the year. Like, yes, we did 200, we're doing 200 women of color, but Per Scholas just in general in this community can produce up to 200 learners a year who are going to be leaving us and looking for a place to launch their career. So a lot of those entry level positions that you're struggling to fill, Per Scholas could potentially be the answer in regards to resolving some of those job hires.
I just have to plug that I'm very, very proud of the work that Per Scholas does. Very, very grateful for Franklin County and our various partners who have hired our alums. And so the cool thing about you talking about the booming tech, our first instructor, our first woman of color instructor, went to go work for Google. And so she has done the work of, she goes to, I can't think of what it's called right now. The build things in tech. I can't remember, but they have little competitions. They have tech competitions, and so hackathon. And so she will go to hackathons and put the word of Per Scholas out there. And so grateful for her. And so when she moved to Google, we hired an alum. And so we continue to hire our own. Franklin County has continued to hire our own. And so they believe in the work that we do here. And they put their mouth where their money is. And so we are very, very proud to work alongside with Franklin County, who has hired a lot of our alums. And so again, like Jenn said, we have other board members and employer partners who have helped hire our own.
That's awesome. Well, so to start closing it down, I will just ask you some questions, and mostly about your opinion about women in science and the role that you play. So what do you love about your role with Per Scholas?
Chelsey? Okay, so like you said in the beginning, I am the site director here at Per Scholas Columbus, and I have been in this position for 4 months now. Before that, I was the program manager for the Tech Women of Color course. So as program manager for the Tech Women of Color, I was the eyes and ears and on the ground for that program. So really helped be the support person between New Directions, Franklin County, and then Per Scholas. So any learner that had any issues with learning, attendance, needed any supports, that was my job to make sure that they feel supported in all areas. We had a vacancy in our Per Scholas on our team for Columbus. And so I moved into the site director role. And so with that, now I do the same work that I did for the Tech Women of Color program along our entire site. And so I absolutely love supporting all learners. And so making sure that the work that we do in our Tech Women of Color can be kind of transported along the work that we do in Columbus as a whole. So my job is truly to help support learners and to really support the instructors as they teach and help make sure that our learners certify, graduate, and get placed. And so I really, really love being hands-on. I was a teacher before this, and so I really love being with the learners, seeing what they do, making sure that they have the necessary tools, resources, and support to make sure they can go on, graduate, and then get a job that gives them a thriving wage.
I would say for me, the thing that I love about my job and the work that I get to do as a woman of color in the tech space is every day I get an opportunity to change someone's life, whether or not it is them getting admitted into the program, whether it is having a conversation with them, whether it is supporting them as they're getting their certifications, or supporting them as they're transitioning to that job, or getting an upskill. Like, there's always an element in which someone's life is changed. And so very rarely do in my career have I been able to get up and say, you know what, today I am making a difference in the world. I seek to live a life that allows me to, when when I have no more days left here, to be able to say that the world is better because I was here, that someone's life is better. And so every day I get an opportunity to do that. But specifically when it comes to our Tech Women of Color program, when I get the opportunity to engage with them, I get to be my full authentic self. I get to be Jenn and laugh and play and show them that your authentic self can never be wrong, and you can show up in any space as you, and that is good, and that is good enough. And so empowering people to believe in themselves and go after the thing that they are most passionate about and most excited about in regards to their career will never be a thing that gets old in my life.
Awesome. Thank you both for that answer. What would you like to see in the future for the advancement of women in science, particularly women of color?
So earlier in the presentation, Chelsey talked about the gap that exists. And she said that if we had an increase of women in technology of 5% for 12 consecutive years, we would finally get to a place of equality, if you will. What I would want out of women in tech is for it not to take us that long. I would love for us not to be excited because there's one new woman who is the CIO or the CEO of a tech company. I would love for us not to get excited just because a company hired just 10 people who are working in technology. I would love for us to be in a space where this time next year, we were able to say that there was a 12 to 15% increase in the number of women that are moving in tech. We use these small percentages of we need 5% here or 3% here. What does it mean for us actually to make a concerted effort to drastically increase that? What does it look like for Per Scholas to figure out ways to get the funding so that we could run 200 women of color through a program in a year instead of splitting it over 2 years? How do we become very intentional with our actions and our words to bring about the impact? Instead of slow walking it, let's just get there. Let's say that we believe in women of color in this space. Let's create pathways for them to be successful. Let's support the nonprofit organizations who are doing the work, and then let's transform the community so that it is really a community in which the people who are working in this space look like the community that they are tasked with serving.
And to go along with Jenn, I really would love to see when we talked about confidence. So we have had, I think it was 118 women graduate and move into that tech space, give or take a couple of numbers. And so I really want to see those women move up. So I know that they're going on and they're getting tech desk help or IT support. And so I really want to see not only them get in the door, but move up that tech career ladder the same way that men are. So yes, we talk about the gap that it is in them getting in the door, but there's also a huge gap then as they travel up the ladder. So what does that look like? And what work are we doing once they're in to help them excel? We have had people or learners come through Per Scholas and they have moved up the ladder within a year, making 6 figures within a year. And so what does it look like for our women to do the same? For them to look at their counterparts and say, I can make six figures within a year. And so I really want to be a part of that conversation and make sure that we are not just getting them in the doors, so that they feel confident enough to make sure that they can make 6 figures or whatever their goal is within a frame of time.
I'm so glad that you touched on that. It's that whole like breaking the glass ceiling, and just thinking about what you both said. I'm hoping that there's no ceiling to break at one point and we just kind of exist in these spaces that are meant, that were meant for everyone, right? That were meant for women as well. So I love those answers. And to close it down, is there a message you would like to give to any women or girls looking to pursue a career in science?
I'm going to go first because Jenn is amazing and she does this very my message would just to be that you are meant to be in the spaces that you enter into. That if you have the want and the will to do it, enter into that space. The people that are there, the people that are meant to be there will help carry you along the path that you choose to take. And so if you take that first step with Per Scholas, with Franklin County, with New Directions, in whatever state or city you live in, that there is intentionally someone there who will help carry you to each step. And so if you just continue to take one step forward and believe in yourself, the community around you will do the very same.
Yeah.
And I would simply say, I feel like I have a couple of things in my mind that I would say, but if I were to oversimplify it, I would say that if you want to be in this space, you are worthy enough to be in this space, you are good enough to be in this space, affirm yourself and move forward into this space. You may not always think that you can do all of the things, but we can do the things that we set our mind to. And we might need some support along the way. We might have questions and run into hurdles or obstacles, but that does not mean that it is a barrier that you cannot overcome. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what ethnicity you are. I don't care how long you have wanted to do this. If you want to enter into this space, the space is growing, the space is booming, and the space is not complete if you are not there.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you both for being part of this conversation, for being great partners to, the Board of Commissioners for this Tech Women of Color program. If there are any women out there who are interested to participate in the program, where can they find more information?
So you can go to Per Scholas, which is www.perscholas.org. We are a national organization, so we're in 23 campuses around the country, but we are here in Columbus and ready to service you.
Perfect. Thank you. And just a reminder, this conversation has been recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube, to the Commissioner's YouTube page. So you will be able to find it there as well. And spread the word about the Tech Women of Color, about Per Scholas, about New Directions. And thank you again, both, for the partnership that you have built with us. I'm very proud to walk this walk with you and keep supporting, especially women of color that want to work in the tech space here in Franklin County. So thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Okay.
Bye.